Ethan sat at his desk, staring at the blank page in his notebook. His to-do list was long, his goals ambitious, yet he found himself stuck, paralyzed by the weight of everything he wanted to accomplish. He wanted to get fit, study harder, start writing a book, and learn a new skill. But every time he thought about it, the task seemed too overwhelming. With a sigh, he pushed his notebook aside and picked up his phone. Just a few minutes of scrolling wouldn't hurt, right? That's when his grandfather walked in. A retired professor, wise and patient, he had seen this pattern before, the cycle of procrastination and self-doubt. "You look frustrated," his grandfather said, pulling up a chair. Ethan let out a deep sigh. "I just don't know where to start. I have so much I want to do, but it's like every time I try, I lose motivation. It all feels too big, too impossible." His grandfather studied him for a moment, then reached into his pocket and placed a small, dusty coin on the desk. "Do you know how a single penny can make you rich?" he asked. Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Grandpa, you'd need millions of them." His grandfather chuckled. "Not all at once, but if you add a little every day, it grows." Ethan sighed. "And what does that have to do with me?" His grandfather pulled out a notebook and, with slow, deliberate strokes, wrote down two equations. 1.00 to the 365th power equals 1.01 to the 365th power equals 37.78. Ethan frowned. "What is that?" His grandfather tapped the numbers with his pen. "If you stay the same, making no effort to improve, you're stuck at 1.00 every day. No change, no growth. But," he continued, "if you improve by just 1% every day, a tiny effort, you won't just be a little better. By the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started." Ethan looked at the numbers again. "But 1% is such a small change. How does that even make a difference?" His grandfather smiled. "Because success isn't about drastic changes overnight. It's about small, consistent improvements. A tiny step forward every day adds up to something massive over time." Ethan leaned back in his chair, absorbing the thought. "You don't need to do everything today," his grandfather continued. "Just do 1% better than yesterday. Write one sentence, read one page, do one extra push-up. Small actions, big results." The next day, instead of feeling overwhelmed by his book idea, Ethan wrote just one sentence. The day after, he wrote two. Slowly, a habit formed. One page became 10. 10 pages became a chapter. He applied the same idea to other parts of his life, doing one extra push-up every workout, studying for 1 more minute each day, and even replacing one unhealthy snack with a better choice. Weeks passed, then months. The changes were so small at first that he barely noticed them. But one morning, as he flipped through his notebook, he realized something incredible. It was full. A year ago, he had been stuck, unable to start. Now he had written an entire book, one sentence at a time, 1% at a time. Looking back, he realized his grandfather had been right. The key wasn't in trying to do everything at once. It was in committing to tiny, daily progress. A single penny, a single step, a single page. And over time, that 1% rule had changed his life.